Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the day 2 of TTrades 2-hour challenge. So this is the review of today's price action, and we'll go over setups that we saw and trades that we took, or trade that we took, since we're only going to take one. So today was a Tuesday. And let me jump to I'm going to just focus on the NQ. Most of the time I'll focus on the NQ. If ES is relevant, I'll switch to it. But so we look at the NQ overnight. So Monday close was right here, right above the new week opening gap here. As you can see, that little purple area. So over the course of the night, it did come up, and London did push up and take Asia highs, and it came down and took Asia lows as well. And before New York open, it started coming back up. So it's one of those days where I actually really hate these days. London sort of did a lot before New York started. So I generally have a little bit of a more difficult time trying to game plan the day when that happens. So it's something I need to work on. But throughout the day, some things did happen that made sense in hindsight, and I'm going to go over those. So first off, the push up on 9:30 open. I'm only trading 9:30 to 12, so 9:30 open. What I wanted to see happen after this pull back down and sweep, this resweep here, which took some equal lows here, and then change of state delivery. What I sort of wanted to happen here was a pullback at 9:30 to like sweep this low, come back into new week opening gap into this order block from the change of state delivery. Sorry, my dog is like right next to me drinking water. Super loud. All right. Thanks, dude. Come back over here. Come into this order block, and then I would look for potential longs. My first target this week, as I mentioned yesterday, has been this previous week high, and then the previous week high, which is all-time high. We're bullish on indices. I'm looking for those to be hit again. We've already had a little bit of resweeping. So lower. So I'm anticipating a move upwards at some point. Give me 1 second. My dog is being very annoying. All right, sorry about that. Every time I talk in the office, my dog thinks it's time to play. So I took him out. All right. So as I was saying, I wanted to see a pull back here, come into the order block, and potentially reach up for a previous week high. You know, there are some problems with that idea in hindsight, right? So if we go back to the hourly, so we did push down Monday, and this was a good retrace to discount from this range, right? it's just a little sloppy, right? It's a little it's a little hard for me to read, to be honest, because usually what I'm looking for is like an internal to external type of thing. And what we get lately is there's a lot of external, right? And there's here, I mean, we had no fair value gaps to rebalance. So this push down, it's like, okay, did we rebalance anything? I mean, I guess, like, yeah, if you look on the 15-minute, there's some gaps that, yeah, it's just, it's a little tough for me to read, to be honest. So the main idea of doing like a 1 hour internal to external, it's a bit tough right now. So we have like an external here, but there's no like internal to come back to. Maybe this, and it goes right past it, pushes up, drops back down, right? So long story short, New York Open, I sat on my hands because it actually just ran up real quick and barely missed London highs where ES took it. So we had a little bit of an SMT divergence. I was only really interested in longs. And even if I were interested in a short here, my 5-minute change in state delivery just would not have hit. I mean, I guess it technically would be like these candles. It's just a little messy around here. It's, I think it's more, we want to look more on like the 15-minute structure. Even there, it's like, it's a big range of candles here. So maybe it's more like a 10-minute thing. It's tough, right? So I sat on my hands. If I can't get a good read, I don't want to enter. So I decided to wait for price to come down into a discount. I was looking at, this did resweep, right? But it's relatively equals, I guess. We have another little low here. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it can come down here and pull some more sell side. I had some people in the Discord pointing out that there were some like 15-minute gaps in here. So decided to look for like a discount of this big V from yesterday and wait for 5-minute change in state of delivery, which we did end up getting, but it was pretty bad, right? So this big drop here, and I'll go over what TTrades put out something, and I've really got to start using more projections from London manipulation because it made it a little more clear, and we'll look at that in a minute. But this range here that did pop some lows, it's definitely in a discount, right? Like if you're just looking purely at this range here, you get premium discount, right? And even if you want to go the full thing, right? We have this dropping down into a discount. So it even comes to the 62% retracement, the OTE, and grab some liquidity. So at this point, I was looking for a change in state of delivery on the 5-minute. And if you notice through all this mess, it does, but not very convincingly. I decided to take it because it fit my rules and I was immediately stopped out. So here is the change in state delivery I was looking at. And this is something I think I'm going to try to build some rules around here. I don't really like the colors of that, but you get the point. There was the change in state delivery. Oh God, did not mean to do that. Jesus, what is that thing? All right, so at the 11:25 5-minute candle, we did technically come over this down closing candle, which would make a change in state delivery, and this next candle tapped into it, which that's my setup and my entry conditions. My trade basically looked like this. The risk was pretty massive, right? And the reward was up here for a 2R. And as you can see, as soon as it tapped me in, it killed my trade. So I didn't feel great about this change in state delivery for one big reason. Actually, sorry, two big reasons, right? Lower time frame order flow is definitely bearish, right? Higher time frame order flow is bullish, so I want to go with that. But to pull off a reversal from a lower time frame bullish or bearish structure, and we go into a bit of consolidation, I know we pulled liquidity, but I would still expect a breakout to happen downward first, right? So this is the whole concept of you can never go from consolidation to reversal, right? Now, never say never. It does happen, but it's one of those rules that you should keep in your mind because it's like extremely rare, right? And most people would probably say, well, you're just not looking at the right time frame. It actually did do a fake out move. So when you're looking at a consolidation and then you see an immediate, like the first breakout that happens is a reversal type of breakout against order flow, more often than not, you're going to lose if you try to take that, right? So I did take it and I did lose. What you would want to see from this consolidation range is something where it closes below some of this structure and then it pulls up and creates like an inversion fair value gap, right? It comes back down into it, and then that's when you have your actual reversal and you shoot up, right? TTrades calls this the box setup. And we basically had a box setup, but for more bearish continuation, right? So we got some more bearish continuation, and you can see that it did finally put in a little bit of a reversal, but this could be seen as, this push down can be seen as the fake move, right? Didn't take any real new liquidity with that, but it did finish the move. Now I mentioned one thing for why I didn't like the move. The second reason why I didn't like the move is because it didn't have displacement, right? And that's another thing. I really sort of want to add that to my model, but I'm not 100% sure yet, because there are times where I see a lack of displacement on a change in state delivery and it still ends up working out. But that's usually because there's some kind of displacement on a lower time frame that you don't see on the 5-minute. So sometimes on the 5-minute it's but usually what you see when that does happen let's act like these are candles, right? When I say a lack of displacement is because it'll be something like this, right? Like this one, let's say it's red, right? So it's a quote unquote lack of displacement. Like let's say that this happened. I'm trying to move this here, right? And then it did this, like right afterwards. So it pushes down, closes, then comes right back up and closes over. This is a change in state of delivery that I would like a lot. And you could say that's not really a big displacement move, but you would, if you think about it on the lower time frames, it would definitely be a displacement move, right? So got to keep that in mind. I still feel fine taking this because I really want to stick with this model for this challenge only. Stick with this model of, hey, I'm going to take 5-minute change in state deliveries in proper areas at the proper time, right? For me, this was a proper area. We're down into discount. We had pulled some liquidity. And it did a change in state delivery. The timing wasn't great and the structure wasn't great, but I want to try to stick with that and just see how it does, right? If I just follow the rules as I laid them out, then we can adjust the rules as we go along. But it's day 2, not time to adjust the rules yet. We'll stick with it. The double tops were really like a big area I'm looking at. Like, okay, there's a reason why it leaves these, right? It leaves these to come get them later. Obviously that didn't happen today, but I'm sure it will happen in the coming days. So that was my trade. I got stopped out, so I'm now 1-1. Day 1 was great, had a great win. Day 2, not as great. Need to work better, or work a little more on my bias on days like this, and maybe just not take a trade, right? Because this wasn't the best setup, and I guess I felt a little bit pressured to take that trade as my time was running out of my kill zone. There was a better setup that came along later in the day. It actually came along at lunch, and I did take this on my other account, and I ended up just getting out for break even because I didn't hold. So I didn't expect this resweep to be as aggressive as it was, and I probably should have just waited for that and played off that. So that's just another thing for me to work on. But if you guys can see it, we did have a change of state delivery, right? Now, one concern with that one, it didn't take the low here, right? Previous day low. We took previous day high, didn't take previous day low. I've seen this happen a lot. And I think there is a specific reason why it doesn't want to create an outside bar on certain days. And I say it like the market is, sentient. But I do think it's intentional, right? And I will get right to the thing TTrades pointed out that is pretty interesting. So I did take this. Like I said, I used this candle for the change of state delivery. I sort of just, since this didn't make a swing, I counted this whole thing as a downward move, creating that swing low. So I ended up taking a long that looked, wrong thing. That looked something like this. And I was targeting this high. I was targeting this high because of fib projections. -2 takes it there. A couple other things to look at for the fib projection. It's also just before we get back into a premium. So that's a really great target. Just before we get back into a premium, it's a swing high that swept liquidity before lunch. It's at the -2 line on the fib projection. There's so many things aligned there. Like I said, this spooked me out, and I ended up, when it came back up, which I thought was going to be coming up for a breaker type of entry to take previous day low, I chickened out and I got out of the trade. So that's another reason why I'm in this challenge, because I want to stop chickening out and hold on to my ideas to either failure or to the profit, right? So if I would have, you see right here, this candle created the change of state delivery. It got right back in, and it got early hairy, but it did go to profit. And that would have been a 2.57 R trade. Really good trade. So I lost out on that one by cutting it off break even. So live and learn. You guys just make sure that you learn from these mistakes, right? Believe in your ideas. All right. If they fail, they fail. It's okay. You can try again. So anyway, that idea was good. Now, on to the little cheat code, right? 15-minute time frame. So what I see a lot of seasoned ICT traders do is they go and project the London manipulation leg, and it's pretty interesting, right? So this did have a bit of a London high of day, short day profile, right? Or class, I think it's called classic sell day, right? Where if London makes the high of day, I think it's supposed to also not sweep Asia lows before New York Open, but I need to brush up on that, obviously. London high of day, sell day profile. At the very least, measure the manipulation. And then what you want to do is look for these -2, -2.5, -4, -4.5 projection. Now, one thing TTrades pointed out in a tweet, and you should check out his Twitter because, you know, hindsight is great for these things, and hopefully you can incorporate them in your trading. He mentioned how this low, previous day low, was beyond the -4.5 projection level from the London manipulation move, right? It's a London manipulation move. Okay, let's think about this again. We gotta always keep in mind midnight price as well. So we have midnight price here, dips under, manipulates over, comes down, dips up one last time, comes down again, takes these lows. New York pre-market and New York Open comes above midnight again. So above midnight is the manipulation move. We should probably keep that in mind as well. If the manipulation move is above midnight, then the people in the know are likely selling at that premium and then pushing it lower, right? Distributing lower through the day. So and keep that in mind as well. But -4.5, that is the final expectation for a move when you're doing a fib projection based off of manipulation leg. So he was noting that if that is outside the 4.5, then what you can do is just say, hey, here's our liquidity sweep. The body's right in there, And then if you look at that, now this is definitely a hindsight hero type of thing, right? But if you look at that body as the sell side liquidity, look what it does, right? A double sweep without needing to sweep this again. And then we have our push back up to the magnet of the week, new week opening gap. So pretty cool to see. Definitely got to start incorporating a 15-minute projection. I mean, it doesn't always have to be 15-minute, just when it makes sense, right? So the 15-minute makes sense because we have this swing on a 15-minute to take us below, and London shoots us up. London open. London kill zone open. Shoots us above midnight price as a manipulation move. A little manipulation move in New York again. And then we go down to our projections. So, I mean, that's the ultimate goal of trading. If you can figure that out and catch that move, that's it, man. That's what you want to do. Now combine that with the S&P or SMT divergence with, I mean, look at ES. It just accumulated all day. But that New York manipulation move in ES took London high, right? You go back to NQ, what were we looking at? Did not take London high. So that's a little tip of the hat that NQ is going to be the weaker one, and we want to play that if we're playing shorts. So anyway, droning on again. I always do. I apologize for that. I'll try to get better one day, but I probably won't because I just fucking talk a lot. I hope this was insightful. Please, if you're interested in joining this challenge, it's a 2-hour challenge. It's all in TTrades free Discord community. We got a bunch of people involved. It's pretty cool. Everyone's journaling their trades in the Discord. Everyone's journaling their day, their thoughts in the Discord. So it's a pretty cool little challenge that really is meant to build some discipline and build some good habits in the traders. So I hope everyone enjoyed, and happy trading. Talk to you later.